Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Wekiva High School welcomes you once again to Mustang Arena for varsity basketball competition in game number 5 of our preseason classic. Please welcome our guests from Rockledge High School. They are the Raiders. And they'll be taking on your Wekiva High School Mustangs. Before we begin our game this evening, we ask that you please stand and remove your hats as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem. And now let's meet the starting lineups for both teams, beginning with our guests from Rockledge. And we'll start at guard with number 1, DJ Richardson. At forward, number 0, Demetrius Robinson. At forward, number 3, Ramsey Robinson. At forward, number 5, Richard Ricketts. And finally for the Raiders, at center, number 15, Stephen Merritt. And the head coach of the Raiders, Logan Keefe. And now let's meet the starting lineup for your Wekiva High School Mustangs. Starting at small forward with sophomore number 0, Jaden Battle. At small forward, 6'3" freshman number 21, Latavius Poole. At shooting guard, 6'5", sophomore, number 15, Michael James. At point guard, 6'1", senior, number 1, Terrence McLean. And finally for the Mustangs, at point guard, 5'11", senior, number 12, Isaac Lester. The head coach of the Mustangs, Jacino Lubin, and assistant coaches Charles Hardy and Rodney Oliver. The officials for tonight's game are from the Central Florida Officials Association here in Orlando. Tonight's game is being webcast live. You can go to YouTube and search for Wekiva Sports. Make sure you subscribe while you're there because we're going to be bringing you live coverage all season long. Make sure your friends and family who may not have been able to get out tonight in person are aware that they can go to Wekiva Sports on YouTube and view tonight's game live. If anybody needs to tune in and follow along live but is not in a position to view a full live stream, we also have just the scoreboard online as well. You can go to wekivamustangs.com/scoreboard. Once again, that's wekivamustangs.com/scoreboard. You can also get that link from our homepage, wekivamustangs.com. Click today's game on the schedule. We have scoreboard and live stat links, as well as the link to our live video feed right there. All right, welcome to Mustang Arena for those of you joining us on the webcast. My name is Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs, and I am joined tonight by Neil Fisher of the Apopka Chief. And it looks like the Raiders are going to come up with the opening possession.
Well, thank you again, Mark. And as always, but in particular when it's the first introduction, it's always good to be here at Mustang Arena. Of course, Wekiva comes in off of what's considered a down year for him. We'll talk a little bit more here.
And a nice block shot there to get things started. McLean not able to sink the three, but Laster will give the Mustangs another chance. He goes to Jaden Battle. Foul is called against number 5, Richard Ricketts. That's his first personal foul, and the team's first. And that was on the floor after the shot, so the Mustangs will get the ball at their own baseline.
So I was going to say last night I did not have the opportunity to be with you, Mark. Fortunately, I was doing some responsibilities having to do with my job with the Apopka Chief, but I did get the opportunity to listen to the broadcast of the girls' game. I know this is a boys' game, but these are really good times in general to be a Wekiva Mustang fan, and the girls last night continued that as we got a missed field goal there. They looked very good, ready to roll already. And what I was going to bring up, obviously the football team has reached a certain level of expectations as they are marching on to the second round of the FHSAA postseason tournament, or if you prefer, the regional semifinals. Of course, the big matchup against Apopka, Tater Bowl 2 2018. But as we move into the winter sports, both basketball teams have established a sense of expectations and certain success as well.
Isaac Laster draws the foul on the way up. He'll go to the line and shoot 2. Raiders foul is called against number 0, Demetrius Robinson. That's his first personal foul, and the team's second. So a nice steal there for Isaac Laster, and then he's able to also draw the foul. Good work on defense for the Mustangs.
Yes, very good there. Continuing from last year, Laster, of course, was a starter last year. Real quick, Mark, the girls, of course, won the state championship back in 2013, and they've made it to the state semifinals 3 times during that span.
Nice work there by Isaac Laster, keeping DJ Richardson on his toes.
So the girls have really established a certain level of expectation and success, winning the state championship, making 3 Final Four appearances, state Final Four appearances, and they've made the playoffs all 5 seasons since then. The boys are just a step behind. They've made the playoffs 4 out of the last 5 years.
Yeah, and the girls are actually kind of looking for redemption this year. They had a winning record and had only lost 3 games going into the postseason last year, and then lost the district championship in the regional quarterfinal to get eliminated from the playoffs much earlier than they had hoped. Yeah, nevertheless, they have a very young team, and they're returning most of their starters from last season, so they're hoping to make another run at it.
Yeah, and it was not only below their expectations. As I mentioned, they've made it to 3 state Final Fours, so definitely below their expectations. And they suffered a couple of injuries there in the last couple of weeks of the season, which I believe basically derailed their drive to get back to the Final Four for a 4th time.
So a missed 3 there will put the ball back in control of the Raiders. Credit to Michael James there for giving an easy steal to Jaden Battle to get the last possession. That's going to go out of bounds off of the backboard equipment, so the Mustangs will take over here.
Yeah, and now again, the reason I brought that all up is because not only are the boys doing well, but the boys, on the other hand, are about a step behind. Last year, they failed to make the playoffs, or if you prefer, the FHSAA postseason tournament. They basically had an entire lineup changing.
Jaden Battle with the first field goal of the night for the Mustangs.
What's his number?
0.
Huh?
0.
Yeah, an entire changeover. Even the guys who were on the team the year before that were not starters. They were not part of the main rotation. And that was very important for Wekiva because they 2 years ago made it all the way to the state final championship game.
Out of bounds, Raiders ball. And so, Neil, to put it politely, you might call this a very defensive contest as the first full game that each of these teams have played. We've gone 3 minutes before we got our first field goal. Rockledge still has not gotten the rock into the hole. And the Mustangs, of course, did play against, they played against Trinity Prep at the officials clinic last weekend. DJ Richardson puts the Raiders on the board. And they won that game after starting very slowly, as they're starting slowly here tonight. So hopefully this will not become a pattern for the Mustangs where they need the first 4 minutes to warm up. But Latavius Poole spins for Mustang basket.
What's his name? Number 31?
21.
So looking out on the court here, we do see pretty much everybody has returned. As we get deeper into this game, we'll give some background on the newer players who are joining the varsity this season.
Foul is called against Mustangs number 12, Isaac Laster. That's his first and the team's first. The basket by DJ Richardson is good. He's at the line shooting for the three-point play.
And if you haven't realized it by now, but Richardson is the, I guess say, first among equals for Rockledge. He's their go-to guy.
Yeah, he has all 4 of their points so far.
Wekiva catching a break there as Richardson missed the front end of the 1-and-1. And now as we approach 3.5 minutes here, Wekiva opportunity to extend the lead.
Michael James for 3 on the pass from Terrence McLean.
And of course, Mark, we became very familiar with Michael James last year as a freshman. He was a starter, and it looks like he's really just improved his game, certainly based on that three-point field goal, much smoother and polished.
Demetrius Robinson gets the basket and a chance to make it a three-point play. The foul called against Michael James. That's his first personal foul, the team's second. Checking into the game for the Mustangs, number 10, Isaiah Laster. Yeah, and we mentioned last year Michael James wearing the jersey number of Paul Reed, who was certainly a legacy maker for the Mustangs.
Yeah, going back to that team that lost in the state championship final.
So the Raiders have now pulled to within 1. Several unanswered points in a row, actually a couple of three-point plays in a row. McLean's 3 is off the mark there, but it's going to go out of bounds off of Rockledge, so the Mustangs will get another chance here.
And to be honest, Mark, here as we got 3 minutes left in the first quarter, this certainly is a first game of the season. Both teams looking somewhat tentative.
Terrence McLean down the baseline for 2.
What's McLean's number? 1. Nice move there by McLean, going reverse and using his body as a shield.
Foul called against Mustangs number 10, Isaiah Laster. That's his first personal foul, the team's third. So now for the last 3 drives in a row, the Mustangs have fouled the Raiders, and they're going to have to figure that out.
Yeah, a good start there as far as the defense, but looks like Rockledge has solved it the last 3 times down, and they're looking to start to get into their rhythm and find their game as well.
30-second timeout is requested by the Raiders. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we want to remind you that tonight's game is being webcast on our brand new YouTube channel. We are up to about 250 subscribers so far, and we need to make that 1,000 before the end of the year. By getting to 1,000 subscribers, that makes us a YouTube partner, And that allows us to bring you extra features, and it also means that when you see those advertisements on YouTube, that money goes to us instead of going to Google. So you can help us get there. It's absolutely free. If you're listening to the webcast right now, just click the little red subscribe button. If you're here in the arena, pull out your phone and subscribe to our channel anyway, and then you'll be alerted the next time we have a live broadcast.
So as we get back here to live action, Mark, both teams still looking to find their footing, so to speak.
Terrence McLean steals 2 for the Mustangs. Well, I don't know what Coach Keith told the Raiders to do during the timeout, but I don't think that was it.
No, to be honest, McLean did an excellent job defensively. Some good ball hawking there.
Number 11, Jamar Franklin for 3. He must have snuck in during the timeout. I did not have him in the game.
First 3-point field goal of the game, and I guess the season as well for Rockledge. And Rockledge has gone with a 2-3 defense since the tip-off here.
And I don't know who that was called on, but 3 seconds in the key. Raiders ball.
So, again, this certainly is looking like the very first game of the season. A lot of stop-and-go action as far as both teams have a couple really good possessions, and then they have a couple really bad possessions.
Yeah, certainly this is the preseason jitters, to be sure, on both sides of the ball. We're seeing some unforced errors. And we're seeing just a general lack of confidence and a lack of gelling on the timing. Another 3-second violation. That's Latavius Poole that time. 3 seconds in the key, Raiders ball. Checking into the game for the Mustangs, number 12, Isaac Laster.
And again, not only are we seeing a couple of bad possessions by both teams, but it does seem like the mistakes keep repeating themselves.
Yeah, that's 2 possessions in a row with a key violation, which is something, a lot of times you go a whole 32 minutes without seeing one of those. Not saying they don't happen, they just don't get called that often. Demetrius Robinson from the top of the key for the jumper.
Yeah, took it to the bank there.
New ball game, 12-12. Raiders have not led tonight. Good look on the key from Michael James, but it won't go. A little bit too hot. Rebound goes to Robinson. To the inside, good look. Stephen Merritt is fouled on the putback attempt. He'll go to the line and shoot 2. The Mustang foul called against Jaden Battle. That's his first personal foul and the team's 4th. So an opportunity to go ahead for the first lead of the game for the Raiders, and they do.
Yeah, the big guy at the line there. And Wekiva has gone 3 possessions and 4 out of the last 5 without scoring. Rockledge, in the meantime, has scored 8 in a row now.
Checking into the game for the Mustangs, number 23, Malik Dixon.
And make that actually 9 in a row now as we race to 12-5 deficit.
Jaden Battle on the jumper for 2. Nice fadeaway move there by Jaden Battle. Good accuracy.
And we are tied at 14 all here, as Rockledge most likely will have the last possession. What's Battle's last name?
Battle 0.
0. And Wekiva also has been playing mostly a 2-3 shifting zone.
And that takes us to the end of the first period, and it's a tie ball game. We will end the first period the same way we started it. 14-14 is the score at the end of 8 minutes. The Mustangs have the opening possession of the second period. So Jaden Battle will in ball for the Mustangs here. And we are underway with the second 8 minutes.
And again, Rockledge remaining in the 2-3 while Wekiva. In the meantime, Wekiva running their 2-3 offense.
And a missed jumper there gets rebounded.
And that offense that Wekiva is running falls under the umbrella of a motion offense. Of course, they're running 2-3 in the sense that they have two guards up top. And to Rockledge's credit, they've done a very nice job with rebounding. Good form throughout that first quarter.
Mustang foul is called against number 12, Isaac Laster. That's his second personal foul, the team's fifth. Checking into the game for the Mustangs, Isaiah Laster and Latavius Poole. Nice block there by James. Swing back around, and that is Stetson Krenz on the pass from Jamar Franklin for 3.
Yeah, and give credit to number 15 there. He hit the ground there to save that ball.
Foul is called against number 21, Stetson Krenz. That's his first personal foul, the team's third, and it will send Isaac Laster to the free throw line, shooting 2 for the Mustangs.
Who got the last basket for Rockledge?
Checking into the game for the Mustangs, Xavier Christian. And for Rockledge, Dasani Robinson. DJ Richardson from the key for 2.
And now Coach Oliver, the assistant coach, is just given instructions to stop walking the ball up.
Laster lets it go, and it's wide right. Rebound to Robinson, quickly to the other side. Good luck, and it won't fall for Franklin. Rebound goes to Latavius Poole.
So now Rockledge started off, their shots were not very good as far as the selection, but that's really changed here since about 4 minutes were left in the first quarter.
Rebound for Michael James there. And a steal by Stetson Krenz. And Latavius Poole, we mentioned him a moment ago, he is in the same situation that Michael James was in last year, a direct-to-varsity freshman. So we'll look to see what he can do over the next 4 years. This is the first time we've seen him play here at Mustang Arena. And there's another 3. Jamar Franklin from behind the arc on the pass from DJ Richardson.
Number
11. Isaiah Laster, 4-3 on the pass from Michael James.
What's Isaiah's number? 10. So a much-needed three-point field goal there by Laster.
DJ Richardson down the key for 2. Yeah, up until that point, Neil, the Mustangs were getting killed from behind the arc.
Well, not only that, but as I mentioned a couple possessions ago, Rockledge was getting much better shot selection. Of course, now we have a turnover.
Another three, and there it is. DJ Richardson for three. The pass from Jamar Franklin.
So 3 consecutive trays for the Raiders and 2 in a row for Richardson.
Isaiah Laster for three on the pass from Isaac Laster.
So an answer there.
Yeah, that was definitely a long distance one. That was a few steps behind the arc. Nothing but nets. Nice defensive work by Laster. Basket by Isaiah Laster. Pass from Isaac Laster. DJ Richardson spins up the key for two. Some blown coverage there by the Mustangs left the key wide open, and they're going to take a 30-second timeout requested by the Raiders. Is that a Wekiva timeout? So that was indeed a Wekiva timeout called just then, not a Raider timeout. So each team has used one 30-second timeout.
And that timeout, Mark, was not for strategy. I could hear Coach Lubin getting into the Wekiva's effort. It was basically 30 seconds of we expect more of an effort from you.
And also during that timeout, Wekiva changed 4 out of 5 people on the court, which gives you some sense of Coach Lubin's concern about the 5 guys he had out there.
Yeah, and this is also the first time this season that we've seen primarily the second group or the second unit out on the floor together. Let's see what they can do here.
McLean spins in there, can't get anything to go, gets his own rebound. Terrence McLean is fouled on the putback attempt. He'll go to the line and shoot 2 for the Mustangs. The foul is called against Raiders number 0, Demetrius Robinson, his second personal foul, and the team's 4th.
So good inside hustle there, but also some good work from McLean. Used his body as a shield and saw the foul was being committed, so he threw the ball up to get the 2 shots.
And he makes both of his free throws, so that's a good contribution to the Mustang cause there. Mustangs now are just trailing 11-15 in this quarter. They had been trailing 9-15. Down to the paint, and they've got a basket there. Number 4, Dasani Robinson from Demetrius Robinson. Foul called against number 15, Stephen Merritt. That's his first personal foul, and the team's 5th. Checking into the game for the Mustangs, number 15, Michael James.
So one thing I can tell you in general, Mark, is that Coach Lubin likes relying on defense. It's defense first.
Michael James behind the arc for 3.
So the turnover that Wekiva needed, they get. And speaking of the defense, at this pace, Rockledge is going to score about 80 points. So I'm not sure exactly specifically what kind of defense or what the defensive philosophy is this year, but I can tell you that giving up 80 points, as in general, is not what Coach Lubin looks for.
Putback made by Stephen Merritt. After initially a good block by Jaden Battle. Traveling Raiders ball. And so turnovers continuing to plague the Mustangs. By my count, Wekiva is now up to 7 turnovers so far tonight, compared to the Raiders' 5. So neither team doing particularly well on ball handling. They're about to pick up 6 here.
Yeah, and another thing about those turnovers is that they're occurring after the opponent scores. So they're not just having the impact of taking away a score, but they're taking away an opportunity to answer.
Dasani Robinson on the pass from Taleb.
And Coach Lubin cannot be happy about that effort on that last possession. Wekiva simply did not get back after missing the field goal. An easy layup there for Rockledge.
Another turnover for the Mustangs. And they're going to get called on a block here. Block called against Michael James. It's his second personal foul. The team's 6th, and that will send Demetrius Robinson to the line to shoot 2.
So now with 99 seconds before halftime, Rockledge will be going to the line the rest of the way. Their next foul will be the 7th, or Wekiva's next foul will be the 7th.
Correct. So we'll have the bonus situation for any ground fouls. We're going to clean up some water on the floor. You'd think that we wouldn't have sweat on the floor given how slow the Mustangs have been moving down there.
Well, maybe it's the Rockledge sweating then.
Must be. Checking in for the Raiders, DJ Richardson.
And this 8-point lead is now the biggest of the game for Rockledge. As another tray is missed. Good offensive rebounding, though. Not going to get 2 looks, not going to get a third look at it.
DJ Richardson under the basket for 2. Yeah, and the Raiders so far, first of all, they've been doing well from the perimeter. And second of all, they've been able to get those high percentage shots. Mustangs have been forced to settle for low percentage shots. And that's why you're seeing the differential that you are.
And to add to your point there, Mark, a lot of those easy shots, high percentages, because Rockledge has been in transition and they've been able to get into odd man transitions.
James gets to the center, can't get it to go. Putback won't go either for McLean, and it's ultimately going to land in the arms of Stephen Merritt. And it looks like the Raiders may have the last word of the second quarter here.
Those last 2 attempts here by Wekiva were actually good field goals attempts. It's been a while since we've seen that, as you mentioned, Mark. Nonetheless, you got to convert them. And now at the other end here, Rockledge is going to get the last opportunity to score because of an offensive rebound.
Takes us to the end of the second period, and the Raiders have come out to a 10-point lead. 38-28 is the score going into the locker rooms.
you going to read the stats? Yeah. You going to read the stats?
As we head into the locker rooms, here are your halftime stats, beginning with the Raiders. Stetson Krenz has 3 points and a steal. Stephen Merritt, 4 points, 4 rebounds. Dasani Robinson, 4 points and 2 rebounds. Jamar Franklin with 6 points, 2 assists, and a steal. Demetrius Robinson has 6 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 steal. And DJ Richardson leads all scorers for the first half with 15 points, 1 assist, and 1 steal. As for the Mustangs, Latavius Poole has 2 points and 5 rebounds. Isaac Laster with 2 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 steals. Jaden Battle has 4 points and a steal. Terrence McLean with 6 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal. Michael James, 6 points, 1 rebound, and 1 assist. And Isaiah Laster leads his team with 8 points for the first half. For those of you who are listening to us online, we are going to take a break for about the next 8.5 minutes, and then we'll be back right here at Mustang Arena for the second half of Game 5 of our 2018 Preseason Classic. The Raiders lead the Mustangs 38-28 at halftime. The Raiders have the opening possession of the second half. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs, here with Neil Fisher from the Apopka Chief. getting ready to go into the second half, and hopefully the Mustangs will be able to pick up the tempo in these 16 minutes.
Yeah, not just the tempo as far as making a move here, but the effort. Again, that last time out before the first half was called, before the first half ended, was called simply to by Coach Lubin to let the team know that their effort was very low, not up to par.
Traveling. Raiders ball.
And exactly what Wekiva could not afford there, especially after they were able to stop Rockledge on the first possession. So looking at the first half statistics here, definitely the score relates to that or resembles it. Neither team shooting the ball particularly well, to put it mildly, behind the arc, as both were 4 of 11. However, 2-point conversions, and this goes back to what you said, Mark, about Rockledge creating the higher percentage shot, 11 of 19. So that's around 60% compared to 6 of 18 for Wekiva. That's 33%. Both teams went to the free throw line 6 times and converted 4 free throws.
Foul called against Terrence McLean is first, the team's first. At the line shooting 2, number 1, DJ Richardson.
And both teams were even on the rebound end, both grabbing 9 defensively, while only an 8-6 lead was actually held by Wekiva on the offensive end. So definitely you can see those field goal percentages, the difference right now.
Yeah, and we do seem to have the scoreboard at the bottom of your screen seems to be frozen. We're going to try and figure out why that is.
And again, another missed field goal. And again, although that's not quite as difficult as the ones we saw in the first half, still could have gotten a little bit closer.
3-point basket for Demetrius Robinson. Checking into the game for the Mustangs, number 23, Malik Dixon.
And again, it's just, as this game is now progressing into the second half, it just really looks like Wekiva, it's not just simply a fact that they're having trouble creating high field goal percentage attempts. It looks like they're not even attempting to get those high field goal percentage.
Richard Ricketts for 3 on the pass from Ramsey Robinson. So again, since the scoreboard is frozen, it is 46-28 is the score with 6 minutes left in the third period. It should be Black's here. Foul is called against number 0, Demetrius Robinson. That's his third personal foul, the team's first this half.
So one of the few bright spots here for Wekiva, that's Robinson in foul trouble. Of course, he is the leading scorer for the entire game. Rockledge has remained in that 2-3 zone throughout.
And a steal there by Richard Ricketts is going to take away what would have been a second chance opportunity for the Mustangs. 30-second timeout requested by the Raiders.
I'm the official. The official scorekeeper. I'm the official scorekeeper. Okay. I'm just announcing it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we invite you to join us the rest of this week, whether you do so online or here in person. Tomorrow we go back to the girls' portion of the preseason classic. Lake Howell plays Jones at 5:30, Colonial against Montverde at 7 o'clock, and then the Mustangs take on the Timber Creek Wolves in the nightcap at 8:30. Then Thursday, we're back for the boys, Rockledge versus Apopka at 6, and Lake Brantley versus Wekiva at 7:30. Complete schedule on our website, wekivamustangs.com. And our scoreboard seems to be back and healthy again. After we restarted the service that connects it to the internet. Michael James is fouled on the attempt. He'll go to the line and shoot two. Once he gets up, I guess. Boy, he took that one hard. Foul called against number 5, Richard Ricketts. His second and the team's second. And Michael James is slow to get up.
Yeah, it looks like he landed on his hip there or his thigh. And I now see the athletic director, Bobby Biaggi, making his way down there. And, of course, remember, Coach Biaggi actually has an athletic trainer background.
Michael James is shaken up on the play. Latavius Poole checks in to replace him.
And I got...
And actually, James is up and walking around on his feet, kind of disappointed that he's not going to be able to take his free throw since the game was stopped due to his injury. He can't take those shots now. Just like in football, if we stop the game due to an injury, you got to come out.
And I'm not sure what exactly the discussion is about, but the referee is having a discussion with Coach Lubin about being able to substitute.
Yeah, and the referee is exactly right here. All right, looks like they are going to allow. Well, no, okay. All right, so they are switching around the substitutions.
Okay. And the referee just let James know that he has to wait for the next stoppage of play to re-enter. And so Isaiah Laster is now taking the free throws for Michael James. And by the way, if you were wondering, we do have 2 Lasters on the roster this year, Isaiah and Isaac. They are brothers. Isaiah's a sophomore, and of course Isaac's a senior. He was on the varsity team last year.
Richardson's three is wide right. Rebound goes to Isaiah Laster. Coast to coast, he's got it. Isaiah Laster, coast to coast for 2. Boy, that's the first good transition play we've seen from Wekiva in a while. Good speed there from Laster. Outran the Raider defense, and here we're going to get Ramsey Robinson draws a foul on his way up. He'll go to the line and shoot 2. The foul is called against Mustangs number 21, Latavius Poole. That's his first personal foul, and the team's second this half.
So I was going to say there, Mark, after that last basket by Wekiva, it's really the first time that you've seen any semblance of energy, not just physically as far as what's going on the court, but the bench got up and showed some energy and some life.
Coach, who's 32?
So right now the delay is we're trying to figure out who actually committed the foul there.
Technical foul, illegal substitution called against the Mustangs.
What is his name?
So we'll finish the shooting free throws that we had already begun, and then we'll switch to technical free throws. All right. What is his name? Nick Hill.
So, Mark, I guess when it rains it pours, and the play resembling this being a preseason game continues, but not just for the players, but the coaches. As we have an illegal substitution, if you didn't hear.
And after the technical foul, which is also the team's third, that will also give the ball to the Raiders. So yeah, that is another one of the pitfalls of having a technical foul called against you.
15.
Basket by Stephen Merritt.
And so the lead is now up to 19, the biggest of the game. And I got to tell you, Mark, you know, of course, every time you start a new season, you're not really sure what to expect. But I certainly didn't expect, after seeing quite a few of these scores last year, to see Wekiva come out and lay another 19-point deficit again.
Another basket by Stephen Merritt.
And again, another lackadaisical effort there by Wekiva on the defensive end.
Nick Hill on the pass from Isaiah Lester.
Let's go, Nick. Go, Nick.
Ramsey Robinson for two. And yeah, that was off balance, and he still managed to put that one in.
Yeah, he was somewhat off balance there, but it really was no contesting of this shot. Wide open there in the lane. Had plenty of room to maneuver and to get up and above the basket.
Foul is called against Rockledge as number 21, Stetson Krenz. It's his second personal foul, the team's third.
So the 23-point lead now is the biggest of the game for Rockledge. That lead does keep growing steadily. It was 10 at halftime. It's been more than doubled now.
Terrence McLean on the pass from Jaden Battle for three. Foul is called against Mustangs. Number 10, Isaiah Laster. That's his second personal foul, and the team's fourth.
So breaking the action, Mark, as we got an injury timeout.
Elias Taleb is shaken up on the play. He makes his way off with the assistance of our training team. Checking in to take free throws for him will be Demetrius Robinson. And while certainly this is nothing you would ever do on purpose, there is a certain advantage to having your player who was fouled go out on an injury, and that is that you essentially get to hand pick the free throw shooter, which you would normally not get to do. Laster can't get it to go. It's going to go out of bounds off of number 21, Krenz. Sorry, I thought I saw somebody. Christian under the basket, still can't give it enough mustard to get into the hole. And Merritt gets the rebound.
And that was a good look there. One of the few that Wekiva's generated tonight. And now we're seeing another offensive rebound.
Yep, Richardson gets his own. Franklin can't convert the three. Battle gets the rebound, going to try to go coast to coast, and he does. Jaden Battle, coast to coast for the Mustangs. And there, a rare moment of slumber for the Raider defense. I mean, certainly credit to Battle for punching through there. Steal for McLean. He's going to try to take it all the way, and he doesn't, but Terrence McLean draws the foul. He'll go to the line and shoot 2 for the Mustangs. Foul called against Raiders number 1, DJ Richardson. That's his first personal foul, and the team's 4th.
So a chance to cut the lead down to 16. It's been quite some time since it's been that low.
Checking into the game for the Raiders, number 4, Dasani Robinson, and number 5, Richard Ricketts. Ricketts barely manages to stay in bounds and pull down the rebound. $1:28 left in the third period. Mustangs still down 13 points. Game not out of reach yet, but the Mustangs are going to need some momentum shift to happen pretty early in the fourth quarter if they want to have a chance of coming back for this one. Jumper, good. DJ Richardson for 2. Wekiva just can't buy a break tonight. All the shots from range falling for the Raiders.
Well, again, that goes back to what you mentioned.
DJ Richardson down the key for 2.
About the difference in the kind of shots being taken. Rockledge, for the most part, has taken higher percentage shots. They've gone closer, and they've had a good balance between 3-point field goals and 2-point field goals.
Foul is called against number 1, DJ Richardson. That's his second personal foul, and the team's 5th. Checking into the game for the Mustangs, Latavius Poole.
And again, Mark, you know, it's really hard to commentate on a game like this because Wekiva, it's not really a matter of what Wekiva has or hasn't done strategy-wise or skill-wise. You know, just quite frankly, it just looks like they're not ready to play mentally or emotionally. They came out looking like they might be moving in that direction, but after about 4 minutes, it was Rockledge who started to find that energy and expend it.
Well, 3 consecutive attempts for the Mustangs. None of them will go. And that takes us to the end of the third period. The Mustangs trail the Raiders 39-60 headed into the final 8 minutes. And we'll be right back here at Mustang Arena. The Mustangs have the opening possession of the fourth period. Next possession block. Foul is called against Raiders number 0, Demetrius Robinson. That's his 4th personal foul, the team's 6th. Checking into the game for him is number 3, Ramsey Robinson.
So, to be honest there, Mark, that was a break for Wekiva. Not a very smart decision as far as the shot selection. They'll get another opportunity here and make the most of it.
Michael James on a Mustang jumper. Out of bounds, Mustangs ball.
So a good start here for the 4th quarter for Wekiva. Of course, at this point, I think what you're looking to do is build some confidence and momentum moving forward. I wouldn't quite say the game's over, but hey, if I was a betting man, I certainly wouldn't put my money on Wekiva winning.
Latavius Poole is fouled on the putback attempt. He'll go to the line. The foul is called against number 4, Tasani Robinson. That's his 1st personal foul, and the team's 7th.
And so the 2nd consecutive break there that Wekiva got, they will be shooting the rest of the way from the free throw line.
And so Poole hits his 1st, and yeah, like you said, Neil, I mean, this is a preseason game, doesn't count on the record. You're going to be 0-0 after this game no matter what happens. But there's still something to be won here, and that is the momentum coming out of this game and the confidence as Wekiva prepares to go against Lake Brantley in 2 days' time.
Another.
Robinson to Ricketts for 2.
And something else to consider too, Mark, is the fact that Wekiva is going to be off for, I believe, 12 days after this week because of the Thanksgiving break. So you come out, play 2 preseason games, and then you get a whole 12 days off before the regular season starts. That's hard enough to overcome, let alone if you're trying to do it after 2 poor performances.
Checking into the game for the Raiders, number 15, Stephen Merritt. So there we had Dasani Robinson committing the foul. Latavius Poole is shooting 2. Makes the 1st, misses the 2nd, and the rebound goes to Merritt. Who was that? I didn't see it. Ten's not on the court. Oh, wait, yeah, he is. Who scored it? You decided on 10? Three. Foul is called against Mustangs number 11, Xavier Christian, his 1st and the team's 5th.
So 5.5 minutes left here in the ballgame, Mark. 64-44. The lead held by Rockledge. They've held for pretty much since about midway through the 1st quarter. And again, really the story of the game was just shown there as Rockledge got an easy field goal attempt.
Latavius Poole on the pass from Terrence McLean.
The field goal was missed, and Wekiva did a nice job of rebounding, but still, that's one of the few that Rockledge has missed throughout this game.
Stephen Merritt for 2. Mustang basket by Xavier Christian. Troy Patrick on the pass from Richard Ricketts. And that was a blown coverage there. Terrence McLean answers for the Mustangs. On the previous possession, James zigged when he should have zagged, and they left nobody guarding the basket. Franklin is short here. Gets his own rebound, though. Merritt for 3. That's not going to go. It's going to go out of bounds off of the Mustangs. Checking into the game for Wekiva, number 0, Jaden Battle. And James visibly frustrated here. Full timeout requested by the Raiders. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we invite you to join us for the rest of the week. We've got events going on all week. Tomorrow we return to the Girls Preseason Classic. Jones versus Lake Howell at 5:30. Montverde versus Colonial at 7. Timber Creek versus Wekiva at 8:30. Then the boys are back in action Thursday night. Rockledge will face the Apopka Blue Darters at 6 o'clock. And then the Mustangs again have the late game against the Lake Brantley Patriots at 7:30. Then, of course, Friday night, it is the regional semifinal. The playoff game will be at 7 o'clock, the kickoff. And that'll be against the Apopka Blue Darters right here at Baptiste Orthodontic Stadium. The basketball games are being streamed on both YouTube and the NFHS Network. The football game on Friday will be streamed on NFHS Network only due to FHSAA rights policies. Robinson can't get it on the inbound. Is that good? Yes. Who got it? Putback is made by Patrick. Foul is called against Troy Patrick. That's his first personal foul. And the team's 10th. That puts the Mustangs into double bonus. Terrence McLean is shooting 2.
Well, to be honest, Mark, Wekiva's looked much better here in this fourth quarter. Of course, you've mentioned, and it's been a theme throughout the game, the difference in shot selection. Wekiva's much better this period. They've also taken better care of the ball. However, as the old saying goes, too little, too late.
Push is called against number 0, Jaden Battle. That's his second personal foul, the team's 6th. And it sends Jamar Franklin to the line, shooting 2. And with that, we're going to be shooting on every foul for the rest of the game as the Mustangs grant bonus to the Raiders. Returning to the game for the Raiders, Demetrius Robinson.
Nice stroke there as both free throws go down.
Rebound to Merritt. McLean's three is well short of the mark. Robinson gets the rebound.
Good defensive effort there on the inside. A lot of hands getting up, but again, too little, too late.
Basket by Jamar Franklin. Another high percentage floating layup.
And it wasn't contested either. After I just talked about what Wekiva's playing much better defense here in the fourth quarter.
Second chance basket by Isaiah Laster.
Oh, we haven't seen a lot of those second chance opportunities tonight, Mark.
No, we haven't. The Mustangs are struggling with their rebounding game as much as they are with their defense of some of those same shots for the Raiders. And we're going to pick up another foul here. Mustang foul is called against number 11, Xavier Christian. That's his second personal foul. And the team's seventh. That puts the Raiders into bonus. At the line, shooting 1-1 is number 3, Ramsey Robinson. But first, checking into the game for the Raiders, number 24, Umari Dixon.
So a minute 44 left, Mark, and a 20-point lead, which has been for most of the second half. It was a 10-point lead at halftime. That lead was quickly raised to about 16.
Terrence McLean, coast to coast for the Mustangs. And the Raiders will spend a timeout to get the subs in. Checking into the game for the Raiders, number 4, Dasani Robinson.
So that lead was quickly raised from 10 to 16 in about 3 minutes. At the beginning of the second half, Wekiva was able to score a couple points, and then it got all the way up to 20 and eventually as much as 22. Since then, it's been pretty much between 18 and 20. Wekiva did have an opportunity towards the end of the third quarter to cut it to 16.
Putback is made by number 4, Dasani Robinson. And the Mustang, Terrence McLean answers for the Mustangs. What I started to say was the Mustangs also took advantage of an opportunity to sub there. They put Neil Fleurville in for the first time. He was played on JV last season, bumped up to varsity this season. So he'll get a minute of playing time in here at the end. Stetson Kruns is fouled on the attempt to go to the line and shoot 2. The foul is called against Mustangs. Number 10, Zay Laster. That's his third personal foul, and the team's 8th. Xavier Christian to Terrence McLean for 3.
So talking about 16-point leads, that's what the lead is now. The closest Wekiva has been since about midway through since halftime.
Yeah, and this has also deflated the spirits of the sixth man. If you thought maybe something was wrong with your audio after he scored that 3, no, it wasn't. It was crickets in the room.
There's about 24 people still here.
McLean again from Christian.
And that's just about do it here. We'll get one last shot. No, we're not.
And thanks to my nasty habit of having good reflexes on the clock, we still have 0.4 seconds left, so we will get to throw this in one more time.
Yeah, that turnover, I think, pretty much sums up Wekiva's effort tonight. Fortunately, as we said, it's a preseason game.
That takes us to the end of the ball game. The Raiders hang on for a 77-63 victory in this game number 5 of the preseason classic. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you so much for coming out tonight to support your Mustang and Raider athletes, or for joining us online on YouTube or the NFHS network. Your final stats in this game for the Raiders. Double figures posted for Jamar Franklin with 10, Stephen Merritt with 10, Demetrius Robinson with 11, and DJ Richardson leads his team to victory with 23 points tonight. As for the Mustangs, 2 players in double figures. Isaiah Laster had 13 points and 2 rebounds. Terrence McLean had 23 points and 6 rebounds, along with 2 assists and 3 steals. Latavius Poole put up 10 boards tonight to get him into double figures in that category. Once again, we invite you to join us for the rest of the week. Tomorrow, the girls are back in action. Jones versus Lake Howell at 5:30, Montverde Colonial at 7 o'clock, and Timber Creek versus Wekiva at 8:30. On Thursday, both of these teams will be back in action. The Raiders play the Apopka Blue Darters at 6 o'clock, and the Mustangs host the Lake Brantley Patriots at 7:30. Once again, thanks for coming out tonight or joining us online. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Wekiva Sports. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, also Wekiva Sports, and bookmark WekivaMustangs.com for all of your scores, schedules, and more. Please drive carefully and arrive home safely. Have a great night.